Shuro Chi is the second encounter in Last Wish, sending you on a wild goose chase to track her down. I'm sure she's a talented singer, but the last thing you want to hear is the end of her song, because that means you die. Team composition can be similar to the previous encounter, with ad clear taking a slightly higher level of priority. Due to the volume of ads, Night Stalkers will be very nice to have for orb generation, with offensive supers being good to actually kill said enemies. A Well of Radiance or two is nice to have for every damage cycle, although an Empowering Rift with some Lunafactions or a Reload Barrier should be enough if you wanted to use something different. As for weapon loadouts, boss-killing weapons like Whisper, Sleeper, and the Icolo Shotgun are very much preferred due to the nature of the encounter. Just make sure you have a clear sightline for any precision weapons due to Shiro's arms flailing around. Most of the ad clear will likely be done via supers, so just pick your favorite primary weapon and then fill in your energy slot with whatever might be needed for your team. The only enemies with shields are the Taken Captains with solar shields. The encounter starts with Shuro singing her song, with a debuff counting down from 4 minutes. If this debuff reaches 0 seconds remaining, you all die. Who would have guessed? Your objective is to stop Shuro from reaching 0 seconds on her timer by chasing her throughout the encounter zone, causing her to reset her timer every 2 chunks of health and every time you finish a short event. There are 6 chunks of health on her health bar for reasons that will become very obvious. When the doors first open, you will be greeted with tons and tons of enemies. On the first level, it will be Thrall, on the second level, it will be Scions, and on the third, it will be Acolytes. You'll also have 4 Taken Knights spreading fire everywhere, and a new enemy called the Eye of Riven, who is basically just a Taken Captain. The Eye of Riven will drop an item that you can pick up. It will stay on the ground for 45 seconds, so don't worry about grabbing it right away. You'll have 2 additional waves of ads spawn after you kill most of or all of the stuff from the initial wave. Then the first mechanic of the fight will happen. Killing enemies quickly is crucial, as a lot of timers start when enemies die and are not on a set timer. After all of the enemies in the area are dead, Shuro will pick up the tempo on her song, doubling the speed of the timer. Around Shuro will be 3 plates with 3 crystals. Standing on the plate gives you the ability to shoot the crystal, but it also drains your health somewhat quickly. What you need to do to break her concentration is shoot the person with the crystal to your right and form a triangle of beams until she breaks. It is imperative that the sequence happens immediately after her tempo doubles because you need as much time as you can get. When the concentration is broken, the timer will go back to normal speed and you can damage her. This is where the item that the Eye of Riven drops comes into play. You need to use this item in order to interrupt her new song because while you're damaging her, she'll be singing a different song that will kill all of you unless one of 2 things happens. Number 1, you burn through 1/6 of her health bar before this new song finishes, or 2, you interrupt this new song. When you pick up the Eye of Riven's item, you will turn into a Taken with a gun. The gun has unlimited ammo and does decent damage, but not more than a Whisper or Sleeper or anything like that. You also have 2 other functions, a Taken Captain-like bomb attack, which is on your super ability, and the ability to break free of being a Taken, which is on your grenade ability. When Shuro gets close to finishing this new song, you're going to need to pop that bomb attack on her so that your team doesn't die. Note that while you are Taken, you'll be gaining stacks of a debuff. If this debuff reaches 10 stacks, you die. You gain 1 stack every 5 seconds, so you'll have 50 seconds of time, which is more than enough. You also have another timer that refreshes with every stack, starting for 1 minute and 30 seconds. The stacks will stop when you get rid of the Taken effect on yourself. While you have this debuff, you cannot pick up another Taken gun. The stacks do not do anything else otherwise. After getting Shuro down a chunk of health, the chase continues, and you'll move along to her next location, fighting along the way, repeating the same process for the second plate. You'll have an ogre spawn as well, and it should be killed immediately. After the second plate comes the puzzle mechanic. In this next room will be 9 plates in a 3x3 grid. On the 3 walls in front of you will be 3 3x3 grids of a picture, 1 per wall. Part of the picture is revealed, but 4 panels are not. If you guess that you have to step on the correct buttons, give yourself a pat on the back. The buttons that you have to press correlate with the wall that the picture is on. So, for example, if the picture is on the left wall, then the button that is in the bottom left when you first walk into the room is now the top left for that particular puzzle. This orientation rotates as you go to different pictures. You always start on the picture on the left and go clockwise. A live example of this will be shown in the encounter flow section of the video. However, 2 things about the buttons. The first is that they work the same way as the buttons outside with the crystals. They hurt really badly and will kill you after a short time. Number 2 is that you as a player cannot step on the same button twice, and getting anywhere near the button when it is not necessary should be avoided at all costs. What you can do is stand on the same button as it correlates to the orientation of the picture. For example, if you stand on the bottom left button for the left side picture, you can stand on the bottom left for the middle picture since it's technically a different button, just in the same position. Again, it is highly advised that you don't stand near any buttons in case of an accidental trigger. Callouts for people jumping on buttons almost needs to be on the fly since the rotation changes so often. You don't need to be on the plates for very long though, as the confirmation message pops up pretty quickly. In between each message, you'll have Thrall and Phalanx spawning in too, so make sure to pay attention to those guys. Phalanx will boot people around and can severely mess up your plate situation. After getting all 3 pictures completed, Shuro's song will restart to 4 minutes, and you'll move to the next section. Half-sphere platforms will form above you, and you need to platform up to get to the next level. But a couple seconds after someone touches a platform, the half-sphere will rotate around in a circle, so be sure to go as a group so that you don't lose any time. The next 2 sections work in the same way, interrupting Shuro and solving the puzzles. The amount of knights are the same, the Eye of Riven is the same. The only thing that really changes are the Thrall, which are now Scions, which will then turn into Acolytes. On the final of the 6 chunks of health, you will have enemies spawning as you are doing damage. This is where a Well of Radiance can really come in handy for the rapid healing, a couple of tethers to suppress all of the enemies within, or some big Titan walls to block damage. There is no third puzzle stage. As for role assignment, you should have 3 people being the dedicated laser team for breaking up Shuro's concentration, and you should have 2 dedicated interrupters, one for interrupts 1, 3, and 5, and another for 2, 4, and 6 because of the debuff. The puzzle plates can also have dedicated players, but due to how quickly you need to make these puzzles happen, and due to the restrictions of who can be on what plate, all players should be at the ready to hop on a plate if needed. Encounter flow is as follows. When entering the first area, you should have a Night Stalker tether as much stuff as possible to start generating orbs. Prioritize killing knights first if possible. After 2 more waves of spawns by Shuro, the timer will double in speed. You need to quickly count down for your laser team as soon as the last enemy dies, stun Shuro, and get to dealing damage. Empowering rifts and rally barricades will be your friend here. When it sounds like Shuro is about to kill everyone, the interrupt needs to happen so that you can continue damage. Although if your team's damage is good enough, you don't even need the interrupt, as reaching the end of a bar of health will automatically interrupt her. Here is an example clip. Play my life a lot more. 3, 2, 1, go.
Melting, applied.
Bears on
go
me.
Go with everything. Tractor.
Good. After 2 chunks of health are gone, it's on to the puzzle room. It is incredibly important to continue to clear enemies during this time, as the people stepping on the plates will be very vulnerable. You will have ads spawn in between puzzle completions, with a phalanx or 2 spawning in the room itself, and then Thrall spawning in the doorway to the room. Be ready with grenades. Okay, we got bottom and mid.
Middle.
I have bottom left.
I can do bottom right. 3, 2, 1, go. Good. Next is
back
corners.
left. I can do back
Bottom
left.
left. Top left. Top left me.
I got
right.
Bottom right.
right.
Bottom right.
Okay, you got it. Here we go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
What's behind
Good.
me?
Complete.
Kill those guys.
I've got mid right. I can do mid
Get
left.
me up. Get me up.
Actually, I don't know.
I'll get him one.
Yeah,
I can
he's gonna be on the
do,
plate.
I can do left, left middle. I can do left
Back
middle.
left.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice.
All right, up we go.
After all 3 puzzles are complete, jump up as a group to the next section and rinse repeat. When you bring down that final chunk of health, the encounter will end, and you will move on to Morgoth, the Spire Keeper. I'll see you over there.